Chapter 8. The Rockhouse River and Moon walk out of the school and head toward the parking lot. River says, "Another day down. Time seems to go by so much faster since I met you." They stop next to his Jeep. "Could you go home with me for a few hours? We can go to the restaurant around 7 o'clock for dinner. I want to show you something, and I don't want to bring it to school." Moon takes his phone out of his pocket. Soon he's talking to Money. "I need to go to River's house for a few hours. He'll bring me to the restaurant around 7 o'clock for dinner, and we need to talk to you about something that has come up." River can't hear what she says, but Moon gives him a thumbs up. He hangs up the phone. River says, "I hope I don't get you in trouble for missing work." Moon says, "I usually don't work much during the week. Most orders are takeout then. The weekends are usually the busiest for dining in." River asks, "Is it going to be a problem with you going to Houston over the weekend? I don't want to get on your family's bad side." Moon waves the concern away. "Everything will be fine. I think I already have an angle on how to approach it." River unlocks the Jeep, and before they can get in, Randy and Miguel walk up. Randy says, "And where do you two think you're going?" River says, "I was going to take Moon to see my house. He hasn't been there yet." Miguel opens the right back door and says, "That sounds like fun. Get in, Randy." Randy opens the left door and hops in. River laughs and looks at Moon. Moon groans. "Just get in and let's go before they draw a crowd." River jumps in and starts the Jeep. Moon glares at his friends in the back seat. "You better not have any drugs on you. You know I don't tolerate any of that shit." Miguel says, "No drugs, girlfriend." He pauses a moment and pretends to be double, checking his pockets just to get a rise out of Moon. Randy leans up so that he is close to River's ear and asks, "So, why are you really taking him to your house?" With a straight face, River says, "We were going to have some naked time in the hot tub, but that's out of the question now." Moon smacks him on the arm. River shouts, "Hey, I'm driving here. Do you want Randy's dad giving me a ticket for reckless driving?" Randy leans back in his seat, laughs, and says, "Hell, he would probably pay you for just letting me ride in your Jeep." They all laugh. They head north, away from Grotto. After about 15 minutes, River turns west, off the main road onto a well-maintained gravel road. A quarter-mile down the road, he pulls into a smaller gravel driveway. He crosses a cattle guard and stops in front of a metal-railed gate. Reaching up to a garage door opener clipped on his sun visor, he clicks it, and the gate begins to open. He proceeds down the driveway. Moon leans in over the dash and looks from side to side. "Where are we? I don't see any houses around here." River points to an outcropping of large rocks and boulders. "My house is in those rocks. I call it Rock House." Randy and Miguel move to the front edge of their seats and start looking through the windshield. As they approach the rock formation, Moon says, "What the hell is that?" He turns around to Randy and Miguel. "It looks like a shipping container house, and the rocks have grown up around it." The driveway ends a sturdy carport hidden by some trees. They all get out. As Moon, Randy, and Miguel stand there staring at the place, River begins to explain what they are seeing. Moon is right. It is a shipping container house. Miguel asks, "How did you get it buried in all that rock?" River says, "It only looks like it's buried under all those rocks. The only real rocks are the large boulders on each end. My building crew actually built those rocks up around the house. They're fake hollow rocks, like the ones you see at a zoo or theme parks. It took them a while to get the right coloring mixed with the concrete to match the end boulders. I think they did a great job." The main part of the house is two 40-foot containers welded together side by side. You can't see it from here, but the back porch is covered by another 40-foot container that you can only get to by a gently curving stone staircase from the back porch. I wanted it to blend in with the landscape. He turns and points back down the driveway. The way the driveway bends around those two groupings of trees and rock formations, no one can see it until they reach the end of the driveway. "What do you think?" Randy says, "You're a fucking genius." Moon says, "I want to see the inside and that back porch you were talking about." The front of the house is windowless, painted the same shade as the rocks, and well camouflaged by large rocks and natural landscaping. You can't even see the front door until you walk around an 8-foot-tall boulder. River taps his code into the digital panel to unlock the door and then opens it. They step into the middle of a large living area. The kitchen is huge and takes up the entire end of the house along the left wall. There are large sliding glass doors on either side of a rock fireplace on the wall opposite the front door and central to the living room. There's a door that exits the right wall of the living room, close to the back porch, that leads to a large bedroom and bathroom. Miguel is the first to speak. This is nothing like I expected. I thought it would be rugged on the inside, like the exterior, but instead it is very modern and chic. Moon says, "River, this is beautiful. It could be in an architectural magazine." He pulls River toward the sliding glass doors. "Hey guys, look at this view." River slides the door open and they all walk out onto the covered back porch. The floor of the porch is concrete, but it is colored to match the surrounding stones. The land beyond the porch gradually drops off 100 feet or more below the level of the house into a landscape of multiple groupings of oak and some other types of trees with rock outcroppings dispersed randomly, creating a small valley. There are no other homes to be seen. Instead of a rail around the porch, there is a thin barrier of the artificial rocks in varying heights, but none taller than your waist. Central to the porch and built into the rock barrier is an artificial rock hot tub, which leaves about a 4-foot wide path between it and the exterior part of the chimney of the living room's fireplace. On the far right side of the porch is a rock staircase that curves around the end of the house, terminating at an entrance into the end of the third container that covers the porch. Moon says, "River, what's upstairs?" Still holding River's arm, he begins walking over to the stairs. River says, "That's my office, and what I hope will be our studio." Moon begins climbing the stairs. "What do you mean by our studio?" River doesn't answer him. Instead, he opens the door at the top of the stairs and motions them in. It's one large open space with 3 floor-to-ceiling windows equally spaced along the wall, facing the same direction as the back porch. There's a large desk several feet from the end wall opposite the stairway door. There's a slim counter on the wall behind the desk with 3 computer screens on it, and there are 3 computer screens in a single mount on the desk. River walks over to the desk and says, "This is my command center." He points to the screens behind the desk. These display the multiple security cameras I have placed around the property and also all data about the function and operation of my solar power system. The ones on the desk are for school and work. Miguel asks, "Work? What kind of work do you do?" River hesitates before saying, "I help manage some things for my grandmother." Before Miguel can ask any more questions, Randy says, "What's behind this door?" He points to a door in the center of the end wall, close to the computer screens and desk. River says, "There's a bathroom to the left. To the right is the utility closet where all the solar equipment and batteries are kept." I'm totally off the grid here. Moon is standing in the large, empty space in the center of the room. "What are you going to do with all this space?" River answers, "I had no idea what I was going to do with it when I first had this place built. I just want to keep the overall footprint of the place the same." He points to the 3 large windows. This view faces north. When a storm blows in, the view can be mesmerizing, especially at night if there's a lot of lightning. He steps up close to Moon and looks him in the eyes. "I was hoping it would energize your artistic juices and thought maybe it could be your new art studio." Moon's mouth drops open. "My art studio?" "Yes, your art studio." River says, "After what you show me in your apartment, I think you will need a bigger space to work other than your little apartment." Randy says, "Hold on just a minute. What are y'all talking about?" River says, "Let's go back downstairs, and I will explain it to you. I want to show you something, and then we can talk about what I'm planning." Miguel looks at Randy. What the hell is he talking about? Randy just shrugs his shoulders, and they follow River and Moon downstairs. After his guests are comfortably seated on the sofa, and he provides them with a cold drink, River disappears into the bedroom. When he returns, he is carrying what looks like a large family photo album. He places it on the coffee table for them all to see. Before he opens it, he says, "There are some things that no one here in Grotto knows about me." He leans down and opens the album. Moon is mesmerized by the many pictures of River in various Native American outfits, professionally posed, and the photos are high quality. They remind him of his paintings of River. Miguel says, "Are you a model?" "These are professional shots." River smiles and disappears again into the bedroom. He soon returns with another photo album and sits it on the coffee table. This one contains multiple poses of him in normal clothing, sportswear, and some just in his underwear. Miguel taps on a few of the pictures. How long have you been modeling? River thinks for a moment. I think I had just turned 15 when I got my first gig with a Canadian travel magazine. I haven't done any modeling since I moved here to the States. Randy says, Babe, River might be the model you've been looking for. Moon looks up from the portfolios and turns his head to Miguel. Why do you need a model? Miguel says, I'm a photographer. At least it's been a hobby of mine since I was 10. Anyway, Randy and I belong to a gay youth group based in San Antonio, and they're having a photo contest that will represent gay youth in the area. I thought about using Randy as my model, but I would prefer someone just a bit more butch. Randy pretends to pout and cry. Oh, stop it. You know I love you, and you know what I'm talking about. Randy smiles and just points at River. Mr. Butch might be too expensive for you. River rolls his eyes at Randy's comment, and instead says, Well, I think you just made my next move on Moon that much easier. Moon looks confused. What next move? What are you talking about? River explains. Ever since I saw the painting you did of the two of us together, I started scheming of a way I could get you to do a photo shoot with me. Some normal poses, and maybe a few romantic ones or mysteriously sensual ones. Randy says, Wait a minute. Back it up a bit. He looks at Moon. You painted a picture of you and River together? How come we didn't know anything about that? Moon glares at River. I told you that no one knew anything about that picture. River softly says, I know you did, and I apologize for not getting your approval to talk about it. But this whole conversation went off into a tangent of the unknown, and I couldn't help it. Miguel asks, Where is this painting? Moon leans his head back against the sofa, closes his eyes, and slowly says, It's under my bed, all wrapped up. River can sense the frustration coming from Moon. He wants to do something to change the subject and help Moon to relax. He says, Moon, we still have about an hour before we meet with Money back at the restaurant. Can you come into the bedroom with me and help me unbraid my hair and brush it out for me? I'll let you yell at me all you want in there. Moon huffs and then stands. He points at Randy and Miguel and then at the portfolios. You two stay in here, look over those pictures, and plot and scheme about what we will do next. Then you're going to dinner with us, and we can try to plan out how this is all going to go down. He turns, grabs River's hand, and drags him in the bedroom.